Welcome everyone. Welcome to this webinar about how to start calling card business. I hope you, your family and business are well and safe. I am Sabir Doshi, ASVP Community Leader, Director and Co-founder at Inexix Technologies Private Limited. Inexix was founded in 2010 and since then we empower small businesses to large enterprises through futuristic telecom softwares and solutions which enable them to deliver complete services and remarkable customer experience. Today, we are going to learn about why you should start calling card business, how calling card works, and how ASTVP is going to be helpful in your calling card business. Before we start, let's quickly look at what ASTVP is and a little bit about history of ASTVP. ASTVP is an open source VoIP software which offers multiple VoIP services at one place, such as VoIP billing with invoicing, multi-tenant PPX, fax over IP, and many more VoIP services together. ASTPP was founded in 2003 and we adopted ASTPP in 2013 and became official maintainer of ASTPP. Since then, we are maintaining the community and releasing the new versions. And we are continuously working on new versions of ACBP for upcoming years. When we had started ACBP, we were only two people, and now we have more than 50 people working on ACBP product. More than 1,000 community members and 10,000 plus businesses are running on ACBP. So let's get back to our main agenda, main topic of today's webinar, and that is calling card. Calling card is one of the most popular business in VoIP industry. Let's look at the agenda of today's webinar. Why you should start calling card business, potential calling card business market size, how does calling card work, what do you need to start a calling card business, live demonstration and question answer at last. If you have any query or questions about today's webinar, then please type your message in YouTube chat, and I will try to give you the answer of your questions. Okay, so first topic: why you should start calling card business. So first is rapid growth of travelers and immigrants. We know that travelers and immigrants counts are keep increasing because of the COVID. 2020 was quite low, but again it will be increasing year by year. So when the travelers or immigrants are moving from one place to another place, if they want to call back their home and if they are going to use a regular phone, it is going to be more expensive than using the calling card services or any other VoIP related services. So for them, calling card can be the best option to make international call or to call their home, because calling card can offer a cheaper long distance call. Moreover, here when we are talking about the travelers or immigrants, it can be individual, it can be family, or it can be business community. So you can see the number are continuously going to be increasing in upcoming years. Moreover, using calling card is quite easy because you just need to use your regular phone, and once you have properly instructed, or once you have properly put the instruction on your calling card and give it to your customers, they just need to follow that instruction from their regular phone, and they can make international calls or call anywhere. Whereas if we compare it with the SIP phone, then you need a little bit of technical knowledge to configure your SIP phone, to put the username, password, and IP address. So that is quite challenging sometimes for the end users. But whereas calling card is quite simple to use. Value addition to your existing retail wholesale business. If you are into wholesale or retail business, already dealing into VoIP, then adding calling card is a positive point or value addition to your business. Require less involvement in operations to manage accounts. In calling card, you simply create the account, deliver it to or distribute it into the shops, and then your customer can purchase it. So you ideally you don't require more manpower to operate their accounts, or you don't need more manpower to give the support. because ideally all the operations they need to perform by following the instruction from the normal phone. So you can start your business with less investment, or you can use your existing infrastructure and start the calling card business. So require less involvement on in operations. Possibility to get hidden profit. You can get hidden profit that I'm going to show you when I will show you the live demonstration of how to configure the HTTP calling card and its flows. So I will show you at that time. Potential calling card business market size. VoIP telecom market size expected to be 55 billion USD by 2025. Since the VoIP has been founded, uh, the growth and the market size is continuously increasing, and in future, of course, it is going to be increased. Here, the VoIP telecom, it means multiple services of VoIP, which runs call centers or PBX or any kind of billing services or broadcasting services. But at the end of the day, to run those services, either you need DID numbers or you need VoIP minutes. So when the VoIP entire VoIP industry is going to expand, the consumption of VoIP minute is going to be more. So you can see the huge opportunity are there to get more revenue from the calling card business. Moreover, TNT market size, tours and travel market size is going to be expected more than 900 billion USD by 2025. That means again the travelers or the immigrants counts are going to be increased, and the more travelers and immigrants in are traveling, the more usage or the more consumption will be there, or more possibility to get calling card business upside. So this is all about the market size which we can expect by 2025. This is the basic flow of calling card, how exactly the entire chain works. So here the admin, that is you. So you just need to create the account, you need to configure the rates, and you need to configure the access number. Once it is done, you need to print the calling cards. If you are going online, then you don't need to print. If you are going offline, you need to print the calling card. There are various designs available, so you can pick anyone, or you can try different calling card designs and print that and distribute it into the shops. Ideally, the main audience you will get it from the airports or the train stations where the international travelers are moving or roaming. So they will require a calling card service, and this is the best place where you can grab more audience or more customers. So you distribute your calling card to the shops, then your customer will come to that shop and they will purchase a calling card. Then to make the call, they need to follow the instruction which you have written in your into your calling card, the card which you have given to them. And once they follow it, they will be able to make calls. So here, this is the complete cycle we have defined. We have tried to explain. This is the IVR flow of calling card. The fonts are small, so we will practically look into this flow when I will show you the live demonstration. What do we need to start calling card business? So these are the basic things which we need to start the calling card business. So local access number. So for an example, if you want to start your calling card business into South Africa, then you need a local access number of South Africa. So, and if anyone is traveling to South Africa, they can dial that local South Africa access number and make international calls. Then, if you want to start your calling card business into Belgium, then you need to have a local access number of Belgium. So, if anyone is traveling to Belgium, they can dial that Belgium local number and then they can make international calls. VoIP minutes. To terminate the call or to route the call, you need VoIP minutes. So you need to go to the carrier or provider who are offering either VoIP minute only, or along with the deed, they also offer the VoIP minute. So you can get anyone, and you need to configure that into the switch. Then you need server to install the switch. You need switch, of course, that is HTTP. You need to plan about the tariff. When you are starting your business with the calling card, of course, the ultimate target is to get the profit. So you need to properly plan your tariff plan and need to configure it into the system. Then at last, you need a website and marketing. These two works together almost. If you want to go online or if you want to go offline, at least the marketing is required to promote your business. If you have a website, then you can also use that to showcase your services. Moreover, the rates which you are offering, so that is going to be the plus point for your calling card business. So we recommend to have the calling card website and the marketing services along with the calling card to grow up your business fast. Box which you can offer to your customers. If you are using STVP, then you can also offer a free merit bundle, and you can also offer self-care portal to your customers. Uh, Ideally, if you are going online, then you can always offer a customer portal access to your customers, so they can, if they want to do the recharge, they can do that. They can check the CDRs. They can, purchase the free bundles if they want to. If you are not offering a customer portal, then your customer will require to go to the shop, and then your shopkeeper will activate those services in that account. So these two services you can offer to your customers. But again, I would like to say that calling card is all about prepaid services. So that means once the customer has purchased a calling card, then they just need to make a call, and once the balance is finished, they can do the recharge using the voucher number, or they need to visit to nearest shop where your calling card is supported, and then that shopkeeper collect the money and recharge their account from the reseller portal or from the admin portal which you have given the access to them. So these two POCs which you can offer to your customer if you are using ASTVP. Now let's time to see the live demonstration of ASTVP calling card, and let's configure. All right. So this is ASTVP, fresh ASTVP, which we have installed. And let's first log in. I'm logging into the ASTVP admin portal. So here you can see the ASTVP admin portal. From the dashboard, you can find the call statistics. Moreover, other reports, the basic reports are also there. You can find the top 10 accounts or top 10 countries by this report. Now, once you start your business, first of all, you need to configure the company profile. So you visit the company profile. From here, click on your company profile. This is the admin company profile, so that is your main company profile. So you need to configure your company name, address, and all of the related information here. You need to configure the invoicing information here, and then at last you can configure your personalized setting from here. If you are only into the calling card business, ideally you don't need require to configure these things, because as I mentioned previously, your calling card customer don't require, or if you are not planning to offer the customer portal, these options are absolutely fine. You can keep them as it is. But in case if you want to go online, then you must configure these settings. Again, these invoice settings are not related to the prepaid calling card customers, because those customers are not going to get any kind of invoice. But if you are planning to extend your services, like if you want to offer a faxing service, or if you want to offer a PBX service, or regular prepaid and postpaid billing along with the SIP connection, then you must configure all of these settings. For the personalization, we have a dedicated video. I will share that dedicated video of personalization into the YouTube description. You will find that and you can look into it. But in summary, quick summary, you can configure your domain here. So when someone log in with that domain, they will see the header and footer which we have configured, moreover the logo and favicon. So they will feel that they have a personalized setting of your company. So they will not see anything related to ASTVP, but whatever the configuration you have done in your header, footer, and logo and favicon, they will see those options. So that is about company profile, which you should configure when you start your calling card business. Then the taxes. So here the taxes are, if you want to charge, if you want to take the taxes from your customer, then you can configure the taxes from here. For example, in India we have GST. Let's set the priority. Now in many countries, it is a fixed amount tax they want to charge from their customers. So if you want to take fixed amount of tax, then you can configure this amount. And if you have a percentage, then you can configure the percentage from here and click on save. Now, when your customers will be created, and if you want to take the taxes from them, you need to allocate this tax to their account. Now, in HDBP, if your customer is prepaid and that customer is going to do the refill, at that time, this tax will be applicable to their account, and system will deduct the tax. If your customer is postpaid customer, then this tax will be applicable when the invoice will be generated. So keep this in note. It is very important to understand about these taxes while operating the accounts, and if you are planning to use the taxation of the ASTVP system. So once this is done, let's look at the basic configuration of the system. So decimal points. So these decimal points are belongs to the country or your business planning. How much decimal you want to showcase to your customers. If you are offering customer portal, or as an admin, if you want to see, so you can ideally we have seen it starts from 2 digit to 4 digit. So once you configure that, you will see wherever we have a cost or a price or balance related information, you will see that much decimals are visible into the ACPV portal. So right now we have a 4 decimal. So if you have a $10 balance, then it will display 10.4 times 0. Then base currency. So where you want to operate the business or where your country belongs to, you can, based on that, you can configure the base currency. If I want to operate the business from India, then I will configure INR. If I want to operate the business from USA, then I will configure the USA. USD by default. When you install the ACVP system by default, you will find the USD currency as it is. I mean the by default. So then later on you can change it according to your requirement. Once you change it, this entire system will work according to that base currency. So it is recommended to configure it once and then do not change it. Then these call settings are more important. This belongs to the calling card, dedicated section for the calling card. So these are the various settings which we will try when we will be doing live testing of calls. So once this is done, there are other configurations which you should look into it. So payment gateway, if you want to configure the payment gateway of PayPal, then you can configure these settings. If you want to remove old logs from the system, then you can configure this settings. Then database, if you want to take the backup, then you can configure these settings and notifications. ACVP support email, SMS, and push notification. So you can configure according to your requirement. In SMS, we support the Nextmo SMS gateway. So you can configure the Nextmo. So any notifications, and if the email address is configured and the phone numbers are configured, then system will send notification to the email as well as to SMS as well. And if you are using a mobile application, HTTP mobile application, white label mobile application, then this setting is going to be useful. The alert notification, that is a push notification service. All right. So once these settings are done, as previously mentioned, to start calling our business, you need local access number and you need VoIP minutes. Now, when you get the VoIP minutes, you will also get the gateway information from your provider. So let's first configure the provider account in HTTP system. So you go to customers, customers, customers. Then click on create provider. So let's assume our provider is telecom provider, and we will configure it. So telecom at, okay, this is our provider. Let's configure it to no. We don't need SIP device. Then you can configure the settings. So here, let's assume this telecom provider has given you a one trunk, and they have mentioned you can send maximum 10 concurrent calls to them. So you can configure 10. So system will not send more than 10 concurrent calls to this provider. Then you configure the name and save. Okay. Now this provider is created. Now let's configure the gateway which we have received from provider. Okay. from the gateway you can configure. Let's configure this one. uh, HTTP support both SIP trunking as well as IP trunking. So if you have received SIP information, then you need to configure the username, password, and the proxy, and set this register status to true. If your provider have asked to send you call directly on the IP address, then you don't need to set username or password. You simply keep it blank and then configure this proxy, set it to false, and save. In the gateway, you will find other fields as well. Those belongs to gateway configuration, and more belongs to the technical. So if your provider have or the gateway have a specific requirement to configure these settings, or they want additional and advanced parameter or additional configuration, then these parameters are going to be useful. You will find this information from the free switch documentation. I will also post this information into the description of this YouTube video. All right, so this gateway is created. Now we need to configure the rates, termination rates. So let's go ahead and try to create the termination rates. All right. So right now we do not have any trunks created which is connecting provider and gateway. So first of all, we need to create the trunk. So let's go ahead and create a one trunk, telecom trunk. So this trunk is connecting provider and the gateway, and it is also offering other configuration as well. So sometime it may possible one provider is offering multiple trunks, and they are saying to you, or they have mentioned to you, like, do not send more than 5 concurrent calls on this trunk. So let's configure 5. If they have given you like no limit, then you can configure 00, means unlimited concurrent calls and unlimited calls per second. CPS tends to calls per second. Correct. This is the most important setting when you are doing the trunk configuration. Let's assume you have 10 providers. Out of 10 providers, 5 providers require G729 in a first priority, and then PCMA and PCMU. But rest of other 5 providers require only PCMA and PCMA. So this is kind of absolute codec which your providers require. So you can forcefully allocate this codec here. So let's assume this telecom trunk is require only PCMA and PCMU codec. So you just configure that one. So system will not send G729. It will only negotiate PCM between PCMA and PCMU. G729 will be ignored. Now this call timeout, that is a ring timeout of your call, 60. So system will try to ring for a 60 second. If no one is picking up the call, it will hang up after 60 seconds. So you can define your ring timeout. Priority. Let's assume you have two trunks, and both trunks have a same rates, same termination rate. So prefix is same, cost is same, per minute cost is same. So system have a two possibility. Now how system can decide on which trunk we should route the call. So you can define the priority. If you don't have that configuration, then you can skip it. You can leave it blank and click on save. Okay. Now this is done. Now let's add termination rates under that trunk. Okay. Where do you want to call? I'm assuming I'm from India. Not assuming, I'm from India. So I want to call. I want to route the call to USA. So okay, USA. I don't want to strip anything. So these, let me explain you the fields as well. So sometime it may possible you want to forcefully strip certain parameters from your destination number. So you can define 00 for an example, and if you want to append 011. So if someone is dialing to USA using this termination rate, then system will cut 00 and it will append 011. So this is kind of localization which you can apply on the termination level. We also have a dedicated localization module which you can configure, and you can allocate it to provider account as well as to the customer account. We also have a dedicated video for the localization usage of it. I will also put that information into the description of this video. So let's skip strip and prepare field as it is blank. Connection cost. If your provider is going to charge you any kind of additional connection cost, then you can configure that. That is a one-time cost if the call is connected. So this charge is going to be applicable to you because this is a provider rates. So your provider is going to charge you this much of amount. The grace time is a free. Sorry, grace time is a free seconds which your provider is offering to you. Sometimes you have heard about like first 30 minute of call. Each call is free, so you can configure that. Let's configure quickly. Cost per minute. So let's assume your provider is going to charge you zero point 0.5 USD per minute. Increment 60 60. Okay. Increment and initial increment. So initial increment is if your customer, if we have defined 60 60. So now your customer is making call and they are dropping call in 2 seconds. So it will be rounded to 60 seconds. Now your customer is making call for 61 seconds. So initial 60 second will be rounded to 60 seconds. So it is 60 plus 1 equals to 61. So first 60 second it will be calculated as a 60 second, and then that 1 second, remaining 1 second will be rounded to 60. So customer is going to be charged overall 120 seconds. So that you configure and click on save. Now let's create another one. I want to call to South Africa. Again, the charge is 0.5, 60, 60, save. Sorry, let me change the trunk as well. Okay, so now our trunk, gateway, provider, everything is ready, and the termination rates are also ready. So now wherever we will be using this trunk will accept the call for a 27 prefix, that is South Africa, and one prefix, that is USA. Now we have received all this configuration from the provider. We need to configure the calling card access number as well. So let's configure the access number. Remember, right now we are doing all the configuration which we have received from the provider. So we have received the rate groups, rates, as well as we have received the gateway. So we are doing that configuration as well as we have received the need number. So we are doing that configuration. So let's assume our provider has given us two need numbers. Those are a virtual number. We can call it access number. As we have configured into trunk, our trunks are offering two countries rates. Now I want to call from India to USA. So this provider, telecom provider, has given us a local number of India, and that is 9112345678 9. Okay, that is our local access number of India. Okay, so this is configured. Now we also have someone is moving to Belgium. Then also we have different number. Okay, this is the Belgium access number. Assume that, and save. So that means if you are into India, then you need to dial from the Indian number. You dial this number. If you are moving to Belgium, then you need to dial this local number, and then system will ask you for further information. Now our termination part, the access number part is done. Now let me try to dial this access number from India. Remember, these are the these two are the dummy TIN numbers or the virtual numbers, and for that I have created a virtual or the dummy provider, and I am going to call that dummy provider, and then that dummy provider will route that call to our this ASCP system, and we should listen the calling card a welcome greeting. So let me try to dial that number. So this is from the phone. I am dialing this number 91123456789. Okay, call is failing. Let me check. Yeah, got the reason. The reason is we have created the gateway and we have created the date number, but we haven't yet authorized the IP of our provider. So remember, in HTTP, when you want to receive the incoming call on your date number, you must configure the IP address of the provider along with the provider account. So let's configure that. Go to the IP settings, add, select your provider, and telecom IP. That is my dummy did provider IP address. So this is the IP address. Save. Okay. Now let me dial. All right. So now let's configure the customer area. So here, before we go ahead for the customer, first of all, we need to make a proper plan for the tariff configuration. So for the tariff, first of all, we need to create the tariff, then we need to upload the origination rates. Origination rates are the rates which your customer is going to be charged for, and the termination rates which we have just configured, those rates are applicable to you. So in the mathematical term, like origination rate minus termination rate equals to your profit. So let's again look at how much we have received or how much rate our provider is going to charge us. So they are going to charge us per minute cost 0.5, 0.5. Now let us configure our origination rate which we want to offer to our customers, and we want to gain the profit of 0.5 USD. So let's first of all configure the origination rate which we want to offer to our customer. All right. So now, first of all, we haven't yet created proper termination, proper rate group which we want to offer to our customers. So let's first configure, first create the rate group. Okay, let me call calling card rate group. That is our name. Then markup. So yeah, I was talking about in the PPT. I was talking about the hidden profit which we want to charge from our customer. So this is the option number one which you can do. So let's assume, we know that our termination provider is going to charge us 0.5 USD, and you want to offer to your customer the same price. Or let's make the calculation very easy. You are receiving both the rates. One prefix, that is USA, and 91 and Belgium prefix, that is 32. Both at 1 USD per minute from your provider. Now you want to charge your customer $2. But on top of that, you also want to charge a little bit of hidden amount that your customer will never know. So that means you can configure 10% here. So your provider has given to you both the rates at a 1 USD. You are adding your markup. I mean, your profit of 1 USD on top of that and selling it at a 2 USD. But when your customer is making their call for 1 minute, they ideally they should get charged for 2 USD. But you want to charge a little bit additional, so that you can configure this markup here. So 10. So ideally they should get charged for one call 2 USD per minute. But as you have configured the 10 percentage here, they will get charged additional 10% of 2 USD. So they will get charged for a 2.20 USD. Your customer will be aware about 2 USD only, but that 0.20 is your additional profit which you can charge your customer. That is option number one, which you can do. Second option is not belongs to profit, but to reduce your effort. You have whatever the termination rate which you have received from your provider, you have uploaded the same rate into origination rate. I mean for the customers. So origination rate minus termination rate equals to zero. So that means you are not going to get any kind of profit. But again, you can configure this markup here for 10% or 20% or 50%. So that means when your customer will make the call, they will charge additional 50% on origination rate. So your profit will be 50%. So that way, you simply, whatever the termination rate you have received from your provider, you upload the same termination rate in your origination rate and just configure the 50%. So you don't need to manually calculate per prefix the profit. For all the prefix, 50% is your profit. So you can configure that. Initial increment and increment I have already mentioned to you while I was configuring the termination rate. So again, same logic is applicable here. The reason for putting this in the rate group is, for example, if you forgot to configure the initial increment and increment into origination rate, then system will use this initial increment and increment from the rate group. So that's what you can do. LCR, list cost routing, cost based routing, you are more focused on. So list cost routing, maximum prefix length, it will focus on. And if you will configure the cost, then it will use the minimum uh, cost of prefix. So for an example, if customer is dialing any Indian number and you have a configured number of Indian prefixes, so it will try to find maximum matched prefix if you have configured the LCR, and it will use it. It will not consider any kind of cost in that. Whereas you have if you have configured the cost, at that time it will use the prefix. Of course, it should start with the 91 prefix as they are dialing to India, but then it will consider the cost, and the lower cost it will use for the cost based routing. Now this is most important. Our call should be routed through which provider or which trunk we need to select it from here. So we have created our trunk, that is telco trunk. So I have selected telco trunk here and clicking on save. All right. Now our rate group is created without any markup. So now that means when we add our origination rates, we need to configure the profit margin. So let's configure the profit. Select this. Okay. USA. Country, you can do this. United States. Call type. I will explain you about country call type in another model. Routing type, that is one, ignore it. Call type, it's fine. Force trunk. Sometime it may possible your provider is offering multiple countries, but for some countries, the quality of call are less. So you want to route this particular prefix through different trunk, then you can also select that. Right now we don't have any additional trunk created, so that's why it is not showing here. But you can configure the force trunk. So that means if anyone is dialing this nine with this one prefix, then rather than using the trunk which are configured into the rate group, it will consider this trunk. So forcefully you are saying to the system that when someone is dialing one prefix, use this force trunk. And the connection cost, this is a kind of again the hidden cost which you want to charge from your customer. So for example, 0.1 USD we want to charge from the customer. Then if you want to offer free seconds, initial free seconds to your customer for each call, then you can configure. So let's configure 0. Now our provider is going to charge us 0.5 USD per minute. So we will configure, we want to have the profit of 0.5. So I'm doing configuration of this one, this done, and save. So this is done. Let's configure our 32 prefix as well. That is for Belgium. 32, like that is a South Africa. So let's configure the South Africa. 7 ऐसे South Africa. I don't want to charge anything. 160 and 60. All I can say. So in calling card rate group, in calling card tariff plan, we have two prefixes added. So that means now our tariff plan is ready to offer to our customers. Before we go ahead to that, let me explain a little bit about rate deck and call type. So rate deck is one-time configuration of the rates. So let me show you example, live example. So 91 India mobile call time we don't have a configured, we haven't yet configured India and this one. Let's configure the call type as well. Let's change this to landline, landline. Okay, save. Now we are going to use this into here. Okay. Now, whenever you will create any origination rate starting with 91 prefix, let's use our calling card. Okay, 91 prefix. You don't need to enter a destination name. You don't need to select the country or don't need to select the call type. System will automatically fetch it from the rate tag. So let's do this 0160 60 and save. So you can see it automatically detected that amount, that values. India mobile, which we have configured into rate tag, country India, as well as if you will see the mobile call type is also selected. So rate deck and call type is just a one-time configuration which you need to do, and then once it is done, you can use it into the origination rate. So you need to more concentrate on the prefix rather than the destination name of the country or the call type. System will automatically detect it from the rate deck and uh, call type model. So that you must utilize. So this way you can keep all your rates with the same name, so you don't get confused with the multiple name of the same prefix. So that will be that will make system very smooth and easy to understand. Now our rate and rate groups are created. So now let's configure the customers. Customer equals to calling card, which we are talking about right now. So now ideally into the calling card business, you generate the calling card into bulk. So let's create 10 calling cards into bulk. So account count. So 10 calling cards. Now start prefix. So particularly start prefix is to identify the bunch of calling card which we have generated. So ideally you have heard about like which bunch is having the issues or which bunch of calling card are selling to which distributor. So that kind of activity or that kind of tracking you can have it by using the batch number or the bunch number. So rather than having the batch number or the bunch number, we have a starting prefix. So let's assume like today uh, we want to configure. No, let's okay, and today 21. So 2101 at this date or time, we want to create a 10-digit number. This is our batch number. Just remember this, and we want to create our length of the prefixes. Length of the card number needs to be 10. Now this generate pin. Generate pin is when you are making calling card call, system will ideally do authentication using pinless authentication and pin based authentication. Now, what is pinless authentication? In the pinless authentication, system will not ask you for any kind of authentication, but rather it will do the authentication based on the caller ID of your phone. Whereas pin based authentication, system will ask you for your card number as well as it will ask you for the PIN number. So if you have configured the PIN number system, once you enter the card number, it will also ask you for the PIN number. But if you have set it to no, then system will only ask you for the card number or the account number. So let's set it no. Now the valid days. Ideally, when you are into the calling card business, you want to offer this calling card for certain validity. So it can be 7 days, it can be 30 days, it can be 90 days. So based on the validity, system will define the expiry date of the card. Ideally, that expiry date is calculated from the first call when the customer is going to make call. So, for example, customer has purchased our calling card service on a first of January, but and that calling card expiry is on 30th of after the 30 days. So ideally, first they have purchased on the first they have purchased. So 30th of January should be the expiry date. But if customer is making their first call on 10th of January after purchasing the calling card. So they have purchased on a 1st of January and they are making their first call on a 10th of January. So from the 10th of January, it will add the 30 days and a new expiry date will be 10th of February. So that is how the expiry days are calculated into the ACVP system. Now, in which currency you want to generate this calling card? So let's keep it as it is. Prepaid. What initial balance you want to offer? So $10 and save. So you can see 10 calling cards are generated. So it's starting with, you see, this is what we have configured. Okay. And now you can also see right now it has defined this expiry date. But once we will make the call, it is going to be updated. And by default, the concurrent call of calling card is one concurrent call. Now, as our calling card is ready, assume that this calling card someone has purchased. Let's assume I have purchased this calling card number. Now I am going to make call again using this calling card. So what is my access number? Remember, I am in India, so I am going to dial Indian access number. This is the Indian access number, and this is my card number which I want to use. Right. So let me dial this number. Okay, let me dial again. 9112345678 9. Dial. It's asking me 1 second. Let me connect to. Just a minute. Okay, I am ready now. Okay, and dial. Okay, it played the welcome file and it is asking me to enter the card number. So let me type my card number 2101212469 hash. It is asking me to enable the pinless authentication. So let me do it. One. It is playing the balance. Now it is asking me to enter the destination number. So I am going to dial any USA number. So 12127773456 hash. This call will last
Minutes. Phone number not found. Press 1. If you wish to place another call, press 2 for your card balance or press 3 to hang up.
Okay, there seems some configuration problem. So let's dial South Africa number 27.
Press 1. If you wish to place another call, press 2 for your card balance or press 3 to hang up.
Okay, it is playing the IVR. Press 1 to dial another number, 2 to check the balance, and press 3 to hang up. So let's dial 1.
Please enter the number you wish to dial followed by pound sign.
It is asking me to enter the destination again. So let's dial USA number, South Africa number 2712345678 hash.
Phone number not found. Press 1. If you wish to place
Okay.
another call.
It seems there is some rate configuration problem. So let's check what is the rate configuration problem. Okay, here you can see wrong rate group has been assigned to this customer. So let's change the rate group. We have created a calling card rate group. So calling card rate group. So remember, when you create customer into mass, you need to make sure to select the correct rate group. So we made a mistake and selected wrong rate group. So now I'm dialing again. Okay, it is asking me to enter the destination number. 121277345 Okay, again the rate's not found, so let's check what is the configuration. Dial again. And 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9. Okay.
To a STPP card has a balance of 10.0. Please enter the number you wish to dial followed by pound sign.
It's asking me to enter the destination number, so I'm dialing destination number now. 212777345 hash.
This call will last 9 minutes.
Okay, this call is routed to the dummy provider, so that is why it is playing the music. But overall, my call is connected now, and we can see the live call from here. Okay, my call is connected to this, from this customer to this, and my call is answered. Now let me hang up. You see my origination rate is 1, my termination rate is 0.5. Let me hang up the call. Right. Now let's check the reports. Okay, you can see my call lasted for 41. Balance is the rate is debited amount is this, and the cost is this. So this is how the flow is going to work. So I was talking about the IVR flow. So ideally, the flow will be when you dial the access number, system will ask you if you haven't done pinless authentication. System will ask you to enter the card number, then the PIN number. If you have entered the PIN number, if you have done the pinless authentication, system will not ask you to enter any kind of PIN number or the card number. System will authenticate directly uh, using your caller ID. So remember, I have pressed 1 when I entered the first time the card number and PIN number. So at that time, my caller ID, this was my caller ID, and it has saved against my account number. So next time, if I will be dialing using this caller ID, system will not ask me to enter the card number. Once it is done, system is going to play a different uh, configuration. I mean, different options. So right now I have balance enabled. So system was playing balance. System was also playing when I landed into the calling card call flow. System was playing the welcome file. So you can definitely change this welcome file. You need to upload this wave file into the predefined folder of the audio file of free switch. And once you are done with it, you need to replace that file name here. So system will play your audio file. So if you want to change this audio file, you can do that. If you will keep it blank, system will not do any kind of welcome greeting file playback. Then you can also configure this pin retries. How much time system should ask you to enter the pin number? If you have a pin based authentication, what till what time it should repeat to ask you for the pin number. Rate announcement. What rate is going to be applicable to you when you are making outbound call using the calling card? So that audio file is going to play. This card input timeout, dial input timeout, this kind of input timeout, you can keep it as it is. These are into milliseconds, and this is to wait for the DTMF input. So do not change it if you are not aware about it. If you think like you want to adjust little bit, then you first experiment that, and based on that you find out. Till this time, we haven't found any kind of issues with this timeout. So if you don't want to change, don't change this. I mean, don't require, then don't change it. Then IVR count. Remember, in when I was on the call, first call, I mentioned to you like it was playing. Press one to dial another number. Press two for the balance, and press three to hang up the call. So this kind of IVR, it is going to retry for three times. Card retries, again same as pin number, it is also going to ask you for the card number. So it will ask for three times, and if you don't enter, then it will hang up the call. uh, Pin, again same, pinless authentication. So what do you want to offer, the pinless authentication service or not? If you will enable it, then system will allow you to enter the caller ID by pressing the DTMF. Like when you enter the card number and pin number, then system was playing like, do you want to enable the pinless authentication? So I pressed one. At that time, system registered my caller ID against my account, authenticated account. So if you will set it to disable, then system will always ask you for the card number and pin number. It will never do the pinless authentication. So you remember and make sure that this option is always enabled. And then the last option is time limit. So based on the balance which you have, and based on the rate per minute cost you have, system is calculating this particular call will last for how many minutes or how many seconds. So system will do that calculation before it connect to the gateway, and before that it will play it will play that minutes in your call. So my call was I have a balance of 10 USD. My per minute cost is 1 minute per USD. So that means if I am making call to USA, I will have 10 minutes to talk. My call will last for 10 minutes. So that kind of audio file it is going to play. So you can enable or disable according to your requirement. And based on that, system will play that IVR. Now let's disable all the playbacks and then try. And done. Okay, all disable. I am going to try. Nine one 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9.
ASTPP. Please enter the number you wish to dial, followed by
It directly asked me for the number. Now I'm going to dial South Africa number 2712345678 hash. It directly connected to the gateway. You see. So no IVR, nothing. And if I will hang up from here, it will again start playing the IVR.
Press 1. If you wish to place another call, press 2 for your card balance or press 3 to hang up.
Let's check the balance.
Card has a balance of 8.9. Press 1. If you wish to place another call, press 2 for your card balance or press 3 to hang up.
So let's hang up the call.
Goodbye.
And bye. Now let's check the report. Okay, you can see my 27 and 16 second was my call, and boom. So that is how you will identify. And moreover, you can see the calling type, calling card is a call type of our call. So you can also identify if you are already using the ASTVP system, then and if your customers are making call using the SIP device, then then you will see the call type equals to standard. If you are receiving the incoming call, you will see the deed or the local. But when you are making call using the calling card service, then it will display the calling card. Now let me quickly take you through the customer portal. Okay, when you will click on it, it will take you through the customer portal. So from here, your customer can see. So for an example, if you are offering self-care portal, so they can your customer can operate all the things from here. Then this is the important part. So your remember we have added two access number, so your customer can search based on the country. So today I am your customer and I am in India, so I will be using this. But tomorrow I am moving to Belgium, so I can simply dial this number. So it, it is absolutely very easy for you to expand your business in different countries. You just need to have the access number and then configure it into your system. You need to configure that particular provider IP address against into that IP settings against that provider account, and then system will start authenticating the calls. Once you have it, you can start doing marketing of your calling card service into that country, and then your customer can dial that access number and they can they can use our calling card service. Here, pinless CLI. So that is the ANI which was registered. So if your customer have another phone and they have a different caller ID, then they can simply type it like this and save and done. So now, whenever we will receive any call from this two caller ID, system will use this account and make outgoing call. PIN. Right now, we haven't configured any PIN, so that is why system was not asking for the PIN number. So ideally, uh, in ACVP system, if you have a PIN based authentication, so the system will ask you for the card number and then the PIN number. But if you have keep PIN number blank, then system will only ask you for the card number. So remember, when we generated the calling card, we had set PIN equals to generate PIN equals to no. So that means there were no PIN number generated. So system was only asking for the card number, and that's why the PIN number is blank. Then your customer can also see the CDR from the CDRs. And done. Now let's go back to the admin portal. Now here, this is about admin and customer. Now to scale up your business, we also have a reseller concept. HTTP support n level of reseller. So that means your reseller can perform the same activity which you are doing. So that means reseller can also generate their own calling card and they can also resell to their customers. So let's create one reseller. Okay, and save. Okay, there seems problem with the password. Okay, now the reseller is there. Now let's go. Now as a reseller, you have assigned them a rate group. So reseller also need to create their own rate group. So let's configure reseller rate group and 60 save. Under the customers, from here they can generate calling card in bulk. So again, same activity which we did for the admin, reseller can also do same thing for the customer. So let's create a 10, and reseller want to have a different prefix. So 1 2 3. That is the prefix they want to configure 10 accounts. So rate group is selected, generate pin, and now save. So these are generated. Remember this time we have selected generate pin equals to yes. So let's check what happened. You see the pin number is added here. And if you log in to this customer, they can also find the pin number from here. Right. So let's go back to admin. All right. So then, and moreover, you can see the dashboard is updated as well with our information. Dashboard is going to take a little bit of time to update the information because in the backend we have a certain processes running from the which is fetching the information from the CDR and populating the information on the dashboard. So you will find this information updated after a few minutes. And here you can see right now the graph is not generated because the information we haven't received it properly um, for the dashboard. So all right, so that's it from the calling card point of view. So you can follow this process and you can start your calling card business. And if you have any queries or confusion, then you can always contact us, and we will help you out with that. So now let's start with the question answer session. All right. All right. So let's check the questions. Okay. So hi Elvin, hi Elkin. Uh, your first question is it necessary to dial a phone number before calling the other person? Yes, to use the calling card, you must need to use the access number, and from your phone, you must need to dial the access number. And then once you dial the access number, that call will reach to your server, and then it will ask you to enter the destination number, and then you will be able to dial the number. I mean, you need to enter the number with the DTMF, and then it will work. Uh, the use of PIN number, yes. HTTP system support both pinless and pin-based authentication. So it depends what configuration you have done in the system. And if you have done the configuration for pinless authentication, I mean the caller ID you have added into the account, then it will not ask you for the PIN number. So I have answered your question. Then server and switch are the same machine, correct? Yes. Server means the Linux system. HTTP, you can install it on Debian as well as on a CentOS. And switch, that is HTTP itself, a switch which works on a free switch. So once you have your Debian latest version or the CentOS latest version, you can install the latest version of HTTP, and then you can use this system. Devang, okay, Amit, okay, all right. Then again, Elkin, is it possible to add different taxes to the fees? Yes, you can add multiple taxes, and then you can assign the taxes to the customer account. So yes, it is possible. Luis, hi Luis. Elkin again, what payment gateway are available? We have PayPal payment gateway by default available. Is it possible to add other payment gateway without incurring in a custom development? No. At the moment, we only support a PayPal payment gateway. In future, we are also coming up with a more payment gateway such as Stripe or Authorize.net. But if you want it now, then you must need to do custom modification. So Luis has answered PayPal, yes. Alkin again. Is it possible to use the calling cards with a mobile dialer? I mean, to have the calling card charged in the mobile dialer? Yes, you can use the calling card in the mobile dialer. You can go to the Play Store or Apple Store and you can download ASTBP mobile dialer. And when you will open that application on the login screen on the bottom side, you will find the calling card menu. In that, you need to configure your access number and then certain parameters you need to configure, and then you can use mobile dialer for your calling card use. Does HTTP include its own VoIP switch? Yes, HTTP itself a VoIP switch, which works on free switch, as I mentioned previously. Does the system hang up the call once the calling card is depleted in the middle of the call? Yes. If the B leg hang up the call, at that time, A leg, the caller will listen the IVR and it will play press one to dial another number, press two to to check the balance, and press three to hang up. So it depends if the B leg is hanging up the call. A leg will listen the A leg will hear the IVR. And then, is the calling card feature available in the community edition? Yes, this demo is from the community edition itself. So yes, it is pretty available. All the features which I mentioned. Can the customer portal be customized with the reseller's logo and colors? Yes, we have full personalization available for the admin as well as for the reseller. Uh, we have dedicated video for the personalization. So once this session will be done, webinar will be done, I will put the links of that personalized video in this description, so you can refer that and then you can offer that services to your customers, or you can do modification according to your requirement. uh, yeah, Devang, yes. Luis, hi. Okay. Aklil, can we import data from Excel instead of manually entry? uh, we have import functionality for customers, then we have for rates, and we have it for date, and we are supporting CSV. So there are you if you will go to the import, you need to download the sample file, and then you can reformat your data according to the CSV requirement, and then you can directly import it into the system. So you don't need to manually insert all the records. But for these three modules, you can definitely do that. So under the rates, I am talking about the origination, termination rate both. So overall four modules: customers, deeds, origination rates, and termination rates. So you can import that. Can we modify language of the IVR? At this moment, no. We only support English, but in future, that is in a pipeline. So we are going to add other languages as well, such as Spanish language or French language. So by default, it is not supported yet. All right. So waiting for other questions if anyone have. I believe all questions are there. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Rizvi. Hi, Samir. My name. All right. So, in the meantime, let me share a little bit about the webinar. Before we started with this webinar, I actually mentioned the three links on the top of the chat. One is related to the webinar survey. So yes, this is the third webinar which we are doing for HTVP. So we would like to know your feedback, and for that we have created a survey. So please, once this webinar finish, please give your feedback so we can improvise ourselves into the next webinar and we can give you better information. Second link is for the ASTP product survey. So yes, we are doing survey. So yesterday only we launched that survey. So we would like to get the feedback about ASTP product so we can improvise the product or add new features and functionality based on the need of the businesses. So your feedback or your suggestions are highly welcome and valuable to us. So please take few moments and give your valuable feedback in that survey. And in the beginning of January, we launched a new forum as well. So previously we were using Google Forum, so now we move to the new one, and you can find that new forum from forum.astbbilling.org. So if you haven't yet obtained or signed up for this new forum, then please go ahead and do it. By 25th of January, we are going to close the Google forum, and we will be only focusing on this new forum. So please join if it is still pending. Okay, here more questions. Gary Zvi, I am fine. Thank you. I hope you are well. Alkin, again, in order to modify the IUL language, can it be done by uploading a recording in another language? Yes, you can. Here you can apply the tweak, I guess. So in place of English file, you can override your files, and then it will be in a different language. So yes, yeah, you can always do that. Rizvi, did you know if there is no balance of the customer, the calling card not sending the CDR? Okay, yes. In fact, yes, we know. Actually, the idea behind not giving into the CDR, because ideally, as you know, like most of the calling card companies don't offer you the calling card business, I mean, customer portal. Sorry, getting distracting with the chat. So yes, most of the calling card businesses are not offering you the customer portal. So in that case, it is advisable for the a calling card business only to enable the error messages, I mean the audio, all the audio files. So if your customer don't have a balance, they will get it from the IVR. So that way, it is fine to not have the CDR into the admin portal or on in the customer portal. But if it is required for the businesses, then sure, we can add that in future. So if you think it is required, then please go ahead and raise your concern or the issue or the suggestion into the Jira, please, so we can cover up into the next phase. Does HTTP has an API if we want to build our own soft phone? Sorry, but at this moment we do not have any APIs available. Only one API is available, that is for the get balance. In upcoming versions, we are definitely planning to release. So yes, you need to wait for some time. Great information. Okay, all right. Thank you, guys, and thanks for your time. And have a good day. Thank you. Bye.